What's up, pimps? My name is John, and today we're going to be talking about Warframe in 2024. Is it the game of 2024? Is it a game that you should pick up if by some miracle you've never heard of it or played it? Well, sit back, relax, take that butt plug out of your butt, because it's going to be a bumpy ride. Now, if you guys haven't seen my channel and or this is the first time you're watching me, I have about 200 days in Warframe. And that's not to say that I have a wonderful love for this game. It's just to say that it is a fantastic looter shooter game developed by Digital Extremes, and I believe it came out 2012. Don't quote me on that one. I'm not here to talk to you about the facts of the game, more about the facts of the game. I'm not here to talk about the facts of the gaming company. I'm here to talk about the facts of the game. So, yeah. Like normal with most of my video formats, I'm going to be talking about pros, cons, fixes, and my overall review for it. And my review is going to be the primary spot where I put my opinion in it. I might put my opinion in all of these other stinky little locations, but primarily it's going to be right there. The rest I'm going to focus on facts. So let's get right to it. For some pros in this game, I will say this is probably one of the longest ongoing games with an extremely high player base, not including like World of Warcraft, Roblox, and Minecraft. With it being a live service game, it does a very good job of encapsulating your audience with amazing movement and gameplay and graphics that have been developing as the game's been going out. There's plenty of content and a bunch of different planets to check out while you play Warframe. Starting from planets in our solar system, you got Earth, Mars, Venus, Saturn, Uranus, your butt cheeks, Pluto, no, just kidding, Pluto, and then they also have some different locations as well, such as the Zeramin, I almost said Phobos, I guess that's a new unique location, Zeramin, Phobos, and Deimos. Those locations I'll probably try to show in the background, so bear with me on that one. And with all of these new locations, there are different factions that will be attacking you / trying to kill you during the time that you're going to those locations, such as the Corpus, the Grineer, and the Sentinels. Now, there's plenty. There's also Infested. There's a lot, or the Flood, whatever you want to call them. There's a lot of moving parts that go into this game. So if you like a game with a lot of content, which this can be a pro and a con, if you like a game with a lot of content, Warframe might be the game for you. There's plenty of weapons, and you do play as technically two different characters, a Tenno and your Warframe itself, with Warframes having their own unique abilities that stem between every single frame. And if you get really far into the end game, you can take one of those specific abilities the devs picked for you, and you can put it on any Warframe that you want, making some very broken and amazing replayability content and broken Warframes for the future. The game does get difficult, so if you do like a good fashion challenge, you might enjoy playing Steel Path, where your butt cheeks are going to be clenched as you're trying to figure out what you're doing within the first probably 2 days of you trying out Steel Path. It's hard as hell, but once whenever you start getting into it, loot drops increase, which, like I said, this game is a huge looter shooter, so you're going to want to get as much loot as physically and humanely possible. So what does that mean? You got to nuke everything. Slap your Mirage, slap your Ninx, slap your Rhino, pop your 4s, pop your 2s, which are abilities. You'll find out once whenever you check out the wonderful world of Warframe, and then just have a wonderful time as you go in and commit mass genocide consistently. And I'm not even sounding exaggerating. You can make abilities in this game which nuke the entire room in front of you, and then just sit down and watch YouTube. This game does not cross its fingers and bite its nails, or even like pee in their diaper when it comes to letting you be overpowered and really strong. Warframe is literally, are you power hungry? If the answer is yes, do you want to kill everything? If the answer is yes, and do you like loot? If you answered yes to any of those questions, you might like Warframe. It's just a hunch. It's just a theory. Sorry, Matt Pat, I'm not going to quote you on that one. Now, I mentioned a lot of guns. Did I tell you how unique they are? There are some guns where you can use that shoot spores. There's some that shoot energies. There's some that shoot bullets. There's some that I think shoot parasites. I'm not too sure on that one. I'm not a big gun person. I use the Warframes. 200 days in, I only focus on my Warframes. Hey, what can I say? I like Godzilla. All right, I like Godzilla. I don't like the tanks that fight Godzilla. I like Godzilla. That's who I am. I don't know what to tell you. Now, I've talked primarily about a lot of different pros, and there is a lot of content in this game, including going to the Archwing, to the Necromech, to the Railjack. All 3 different mechs and items you can build as a Warf, as a Tenno, and there's an extensive story that attaches itself to each of those items. So if you beat the story, you will end up with every single one of those items, which which increase your gameplay and increase the missions you do, increase the time you spend on this game. Warframe has a lot of content, literally so much content. And there are companions, you can create specters of your character, you can do anything. If you like art, go be an artist. You can create fashion frames and go to dojos, and some people will pay you in-game currency to complete their dojo, make it look super nice. Do you like making your character extremely strong? Build your warframes. Do you like being a gunsmith? Then build your guns extremely strong. There is literally anything you want to do in Warframe, there's a good chance you can do it. If you want to be an admin, well, you can be an admin. I don't know. For the most part, Warframe is not toxic. I don't want to say it as in for the most part. As long as you stay away from the marketing chat, you probably will never have to deal with toxicity in the entire time that you play this game, but you will have to go in there and that is a problem. Which you can also be a merchant and sell for items that you've earned for in-game currency, which goes into farming relics, which is a whole new thing I didn't even talk about, or Kuva Lich farming, or just content. And did I mention this game was free? My golly gumdrops, it's free! Now, with the pros, I will have to segue into the part that a lot of people probably won't like, but I will give my review of the pros real quick and more of a summarization. There's a lot of content in Warframe. There's a lot of moving parts. There is a lot of time you will dedicate into Warframe, with very little guidance, being like missions will guide you a little bit, and the segments themselves, or the junctions, those junctions will guide you a little bit. But for the most part, Warframe has a lot of content, plenty of in-game time, and if you play with friends, it's fun. If you play by yourself, it's even more fun because you can just do a lot of fun things by yourself. So Warframe, great game, great pros, all around awesome. Now, this is the part where I feel like I'm going to lose a lot of you. These are some cons to the game. I'm not going to be as enthusiastic because I know people are going to be like, whoa, this guy's talking about the nasty. I don't want to hear it. Sit down and relax. Trust me. I'm not gonna shit on Warframe, but there are things that I think should be brought to people's attention if I'm going to try to introduce this game to new people. There's only a few that I can think of, but they are still problems as you play. Starting with problem number 1. Once whenever you reach the end game in Warframe, there literally is no guidance. The only guidance you have is yourself and your missions and your buddies. Once you complete the missions, once you complete the junctions, there literally is, like, they don't tell you what to do. And there's a lot more to do in the game, i.e. farming steel path essence, i.e. farming rivens. There's no motivation to ever do rivens. I've played this game for 200 days. I've never completed the riven because nothing in this game benefits me from creating rivens except for trying to sell them or wanting to use them. But I built Warframes, so I don't have a use for building a riven. I don't never need to. And I think that that's not lazy. It's just there's so much to do that you can literally play this game for a long period of time and completely avoid doing something. And I think that they should do a better way of motivating you for doing it. May that be like a book with achievements, with rewards, what you do for when you do your own thing. Create one riven, give me like 500 plastids or something, or like a little banner. Create some cosmetic items that would encourage a lot of new players to consistently stick with the game. Kind of like a tracking book, like what Genshin Impact and Warhammer 40k Dark Tide has. Something that could make me want to keep on going, even towards the end, because I'm like, I want to be the best. There's nothing that really does that besides your prestige level, which can get really high. However, there's not really a reward for getting it really high besides being like, I'm prestige level 4. Who are you? And I just think that if they had more rewards for completing specific objectives and consistently going down the line and completing everything, I think that would motivate more people to stay around. Warframe is a big game. It has a lot to it. So you have to stop thinking like, oh, well, just get good. Well, if new players are going to get into this massive game, which now has 2 different starts. One, I don't even think that you could start you could start in the Duviri Paradox and the base game. But if you do the Duviri, you're not really gaining anything for your base game. You're going to be farming you're going to farm Duviri because it's 2 different sections. It's just, it can get very complicated, and I think if this game offered like some more guidance towards it besides the junctions and the missions, I think a lot more people would find that a lot more helpful and something that they can constantly update with all the updates that they release and drop. I'm going to take a little sippy sip, sorry. Another big one, not big one, but something that people should know is everything in this game, for the most part, runs off of time. If you are going to farm a mission, if you want to farm your syndicate, if you want to farm your factions, if you want to craft something, it all runs off of time. In-game time. To craft a Warframe takes, if you do it all at once, takes at least 3 days and 12 hours at minimum. That's not to say that you craft 2 of your parts and then you forget to craft 1, and then rushing them cost about 125 platinum, which I think comes out to about $10 to $15, maybe 20, I don't know, $10 to $20 to rush a Warframe. You start adding that up, it starts to get a little pricey. Warframe is definitely a very big time-oriented game, so new players are going to probably not want to jump in immediately because of the time. But I'm going to tell you, if you just learn to be a little patient, it's totally worth it. But that is still a problem that I think new players and maybe some experienced players do not like. And honestly, I know why it exists, but that's not to say that I think that it absolutely has to exist. This game is amazing, and I know that they want people to keep playing it, but that doesn't mean I should have to wait 36 hours. Or no, it'd be, yeah, no, wait, you wait 3 days and 12 hours. I'm not doing the math in my head. I don't want to wait that long. I don't want to wait. I want to use my Rhino Prime now. Imagine waiting 3 years and no platinum because you've been fighting tooth and nail to get Oberon Prime. You're fighting everybody. You're throwing haymakers. And then as soon as you get it, you craft 2 of the parts, you forget you're missing 1 plastic, so you have to go back out and farm it, and then you wake up the next morning and you have to wait for that last part to get made, and then you craft it, and then you wait 72 hours, and then you're like, oh my god, you have to wait 3 days, like actual 7. It's just it's very unmotivating sometimes. I don't know, that's never happened to me though. Okay, I guess I only have 2 more complaints, kind of. All of the locations, they do feel different, but the bounties are all kind of the same. Warframe is repetitive. That is a big thing I think I should say. After a specific point, once you hit a specific point, it's going to take you a while to hit that point, or you hit it off rip. Well, actually, it is pretty all of a sudden. All the missions kind of repeat. There are a few like Mirror Defense and Hijack that are kind of stand out a little bit. Good luck running a Naros on a... I accidentally one time, fun story, ran a Naros on a Hijack mission. You can't do that. But all the missions really do get repetitive. So if you're someone that I have to do something new every time, if it's repetitive, I can't do it. Even with modifiers, the missions are technically the same. The bounty locations are all the same. It just changes on who you're doing it to and what the enemies are, what the rewards are. That does change, but the missions themselves, they never change. That is a con to an extent. It isn't insane to do it. Warframe, it is insane, literally by definition insane to play Warframe. It is the same shit over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Except you do get different results, but technically speaking, I do this mission, I get a reward. Yay. I do this mission, I get a reward. Yay. I do this mission, I get a reward. I didn't get the reward. No. I do this mission, I do the mission, and then I do another mission, and then I get the reward. It's like you take your reverse curse technique, and then you do the curse technique, and then you combine them with the negative energy to the positive energy, and then... Anyway, so besides the repetition towards everything, and besides the repetition, the in-game time, and the lack of guidance that I think they could implement... Oh yeah. Okay. This might not be the one, but I totally forgot one. The community is can be pretty toxic. I've had a lot of negative interactions, and I've had some moments in the game where I've been like, man, there's no way. If you ever use the marketing chat, know what the item that you're trying to buy is, because 9 times out of 10 people are going to charge you like 10 million platinum for the stretch mod. I swear that exists somewhere. I swear someone's been swindled like that, been humbled like that. It's wild, and I think that this community takes a lot of advantage over some of the power that they have. You give someone power, you can see what they do with it. 9 times out of 10 they abuse it, which is totally fine. You are within your own right to do whatever you want. You got the mod, you can charge whatever you want for it. But to say that that isn't toxic and a little annoying for a new player, because once you start off, you only start off with 50 plat, which I recommend using that towards weapon slots and Warframe slots. But if a new player is like, oh, I want the stretch mod, and someone comes in and says 50 plat, oh my god, I have 50 plat, you just killed like 95% of the fun you can have. And hell, even if you forget how things work for a little bit, you know, it can ruin the game. And I do think that the community does hold a negative kind of representation towards this game, because it's not that they try to. I think it's just that it happens on accident, and it's it's a little sour. It's a little sour. All right, so that's pretty much my con list. Big Summer, we'll go over all of them real quick. One, not a lot of guidance. It would help if they put more guidance into the game. That's kind of we're segueing also into the fixes as well. Not a lot of guidance. Would be nice if they kind of like put something implemented that would help a lot of new players and experienced players be more motivated to do some of the things that already exist. Because as far as I see it, sometimes there are things that you just never need to do, like farming a Ku village or the Sister of Parvos. You don't really need to do that if you really just never hear about it. It happens. Number two is the game takes time. There's not a fix to that. Be patient, and but it is a con because sometimes people don't have 3 days to wait. You can only play today, and then 2 months later you hop back on. People are busy. It happens. And I think that might deter some people. And so if you don't have a lot of free time, i.e. if you don't have if you aren't able to hop on every so often, I think that's it can kind of suck for you. So not really a fix to that one. Be patient. I'm sorry if that's a little deterring. Clash of Clans, that's all I can say. Oh, the community being toxic, it happens everywhere. It's just be very careful with the deals that you do. Make sure to use Warframe Market for if you're trying to trade or sell anything. That's a fix for you, but that is still a con that I thought I would mention for any new players and returning players that are like, I don't know. For the most part, on top of this video, I want to slap a little announcement. You can convert your account now. So if you play on PC and you want to convert that to your Xbox or vice versa, primarily vice versa, preferably, you can do that, and you can combine both of them. All the gear, they literally just gets duplicated. It's super cool having 2 Excalibur Umbras. I feel like a pimp. That being said, this game is also cross-play and cross-platform, so you can play with everybody all over the place, all over the globe, and you can now join clans as such. They're doing a really good job with that. They're killing it. They're doing awesome. They're great. You're doing great work, Digital Extremes. Thumbs up to you. Now my review. Warframe. If you're not new to this channel and you've seen some of my reviews, you're gonna know. I use Warframe a lot. I say a lot of games should be like Warframe. I also talk about it a lot on my Twitch. I stream twitch.tv/Discomania. Come check me out. Now the review for this game. A lot of content. Sometimes it can be stressful how much content there is, but there is a lot of it, and they haven't really removed anything that hasn't been damn near gambling. So my review for this extensive game that I've put a lot of time into, seriously, 100% of the time, I'm going with a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 shit stains on your underpants. Okay, I'm telling you, the only reason it's not a 10 out of 10 is it's not really beginner friendly. And if we could get this game to be really, really beginner friendly, like to the point where beginners are literally like handed stuff to get in here so they get more motivated or like get a good guidance to hop in, and we got the player base to like way higher. So, I could help more people. Not trying to say I'm trying to be a superhero, but what are you going to do? I think that is like the only thing stopping this game from being a 10 out of 10. It's free, plenty of content. It's been around for years, a decade, beyond that. Like it's an amazing game. And if you haven't checked it out or you haven't played it in a minute, you're missing out. You're missing out. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed this review. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and don't forget to check out the Twitch and the Discord down in the links of the description below. Peace out.